The new Fortnite season is officially here, which means that I'm going to give you guys a brand new set of controller settings that you can use to dominate the new season. Before we begin, make sure to check out Cinch Gaming. Cinch Gaming is the best custom controller company out there. They sell affordable custom controllers with competitive features like mouse click triggers and back buttons, while also providing aesthetically pleasing designs on these controllers. You can use code BUFFALO for 5% off of any store purchase. Make sure to check them out in the link in the description below. So we're going to start off with our display settings. For console players, you don't have these options, but make sure to enable 120 FPS mode if you have and turn off motion blur. As for players on PC that play on controller like I do, then you want to copy these settings. These are used by most professional players to maximize FPS and reduce input delay. If you have a lower end PC, then turning down the display resolution as well as the 3D resolution could work for you. Now let's move on to the audio settings where it makes the least impact to your gameplay. However, I do have to note that you want to enable visualized sound effects. This has been the meta of the game since chapter 3 and you definitely want to be using this to distinguish certain sound effects. Everything else is pretty standard and you shouldn't tamper with, except maybe the sound quality. In some cases, this can increase your FPS by a little bit. If anything, it's an extra 2 or 3 FPS. It's not really impactful, but if you really need the frames, then go for it. For the game settings, we only really need to worry about the building section. Sometimes turning off disable pre-edit option can reduce any edit delay on controller as well as console. I suggest turning this off mainly because this is only one of the few things that you can do to reduce your input delay on console. Now, as for confirm edit on release, this all depends on what you think is best. I have this on both because I think reset on release is faster on controller, but I also think that edit on release is somehow slower than if you were to confirm the edit manually. I just have this on both in case I fail to confirm an edit. It's technically my safety net in the instance that I misconfirm. Edit on release will do the job for me. If you are a beginner, I believe that you should have auto-confirm edits on both, especially if you're just trying to adjust to building and editing. However, if you are already playing without edit on release, then feel free to stick to it. And if you haven't already disabled all of your replays, then make sure you have. This setting is literally made to hurt your FPS. It just takes up unnecessary space on your PC and you're better off using your dedicated video recorder. Whether that's on PC or console, you can drastically reduce your input delay by just simply making sure that all of these replays are turned off. As for the game user interface, there's not really much you need to do. Most of this comes down to personal preference. However, if you want to copy my settings, then feel free to do so. It's a pretty good baseline for good looking montages and seeing your materials and ammo in game. Moving on to gyro aiming, which is not a good setting in my opinion. It doesn't help that it just adds input delay on your controller, but it also just makes it harder for you to control your character movement. Just leave it off and it literally doesn't help you. Most professional players probably wouldn't suggest this anyway. Then we're going to skip mouse and keyboard and go straight to the controller settings. This tab right here is exactly why you are watching this video. In my opinion, this is a pretty balanced set of settings for controller players who want to become competitive, but if you have any problems with it, then let me know down in the comments section below. Starting off with controller auto run, we're going to keep this on as well as build immediately builder pro. Then we're going to have our edit hold time on 0.1 and our slide hold time on 0.07. The edit hold time allows us to have 0 edit delay, so this setting is very important for Fortnite. Then we're going to make sure that vibration is disabled. This is horrible and not a single player who wants to actually improve should have this enabled. Just make sure this is disabled and never consider turning it on ever again. As for quick weapon, I don't really have an opinion on this. Although most professional players believe that it's not a very good setting yet, nor is it good enough to be used. Just copy these settings and let's move on to the actual sensitivities. Let's make sure that advanced options is enabled. This gives us full customization on our sensitivity. Then we're going to have build mode and edit mode sensitivity multiplier on 2.0, but anywhere from 2.0 to 2.4 is a good number. Anything lower or higher will just be weird for your sensitivity. I would say 2.0 is the best baseline, but you could choose anywhere between 2.0 to 2.4 as previously mentioned. Then we're going to have our look horizontal and look vertical speeds on 42%, but once again, anywhere from 40% to 46% is a good number. This just depends on how smooth or how fast you want your playstyle to be. Anything over 46% is overkill and anything under 40% is a little bit too slow. Make sure that all of the boosts are turned off, so turning horizontal boost and turning boost ramp time on your look sensitivity has to be disabled. Now for your ADS sensitivity, I highly recommend 10 to 11%. Anywhere from 10 to 14% actually works, but I think 10% is the sweet spot. Then Then make sure that your ADS turning boost ramp time is on 0.20 seconds and your look dampening time is on 0.04 seconds. In some cases, this actually helps your aim assist a tiny bit. It doesn't really hurt your control while you're aiming down, so it doesn't have any downsides, only potential upsides. Then for your look input curve, make sure this is on linear. This is by far the most optimal for controller players, especially for beginners. Then obviously you want to make sure your aim assist strength is on 100%. Then for your dead zones, you want to adjust this based on your controller's health. If you are experiencing stick drift, then you might want to turn dead zones a little bit higher. And finally, make sure that the enable foot controller option is disabled. This doesn't help your input delay at all, and it just forces Fortnite to look for a compatible foot controller. Just turn this off, it just adds unnecessary edit delay on your controller. As for the binds, I won't cover this part. I gave a more in-depth video on this, so make sure to check it out in the link in the description if you are on non-claw and non-paddle. But if you are playing on claw, then you can copy the settings that I'm showing on screen right now. And if you are interested, I am playing on double claw on a PlayStation 5 controller. Trust me, these controller settings are so fun to use. I've managed to pick up a lot of clean kills with these settings. I'm a huge fan of controller settings and binds, and I think that if you start off with a good set, then you can potentially kickstart your journey much faster. Once again, if you have any problems with these settings, then please feel free to express your concerns in the comment section below. I am open to suggestions and possible changes if need be. Also, I'm going to be very busy with school stuff once more. Fortunately, not as much as before, so expect at least 3 uploads a week. Although I'll try to post 4 or 5 if I can, but expect at least 3. And I almost forgot to mention to actually suggest content ideas in the future. If you guys want a certain tutorial, then please feel free to comment. I'll make sure to include you in the next video if I find your idea interesting. Also, make sure to follow my TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. This is a different way of engaging with me, so please do check out my other social media handles. I'm trying to be active on Twitter when it comes to basketball related content, so if you want my basketball takes, then make sure to head on over to Twitter. And if you are interested in short form Fortnite content, then make sure to check out my TikTok and Instagram. I'll also try to post personal stuff and other forms of content on Instagram. And of course, we cannot forget about TikTok, where I'll try to post exclusive content related to Fortnite. This is a very different approach when it comes to engaging with me. Definitely outside of YouTube, I want to interact more with my audience. So please do check out my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok in the link in the description. And while you're there, make sure to drop a follow and check out my other videos. Once again, if you guys are interested in custom controllers, then make sure to check out Cinch Gaming in the link in the description below. It's actually terrifying how affordable their controllers are. And if you want to join the NXT Discord server, then make sure to check out the link in the description as well. This is the closest you'll get to interacting with me, so make sure to check that out in the link in the description. I'll be hosting giveaways and a bunch of other announcements as well on that Discord server. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you learned something new, then make sure to subscribe and like the video. We are so close to 10,000 subscribers, and I just want to hit this big milestone before April. Otherwise, that's it for me. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.